time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com. Keep your blaster handy, the West is a dangerous place. Fight to survive as men turn to monsters and the dead rise. On the Wild West Exodus Hub at beastsofwar.com.
Good morning, kids of all ages. Time to do another video about converting some miniatures and having fun with miniatures, putting them together in ways that you were never meant to put them together in. For this one, we're going to start with two miniatures, which is the first one is a Trollbloods Earthborn Dire Troll, which is a nice beefy troll model. The other one is the set for the Cephalix Monstrosity set. What we're going to do is, there are some spare bits in the Cephalix set, in the Monstrosity set, and when you put it together, you've got some spare bits left, so we're going to put those on the troll, because the idea of the Cephalix is that they take, well, people and creatures and creatures from everywhere, and they turn them into mindless slaves, and that's what we're going to do to the Dire Troll, which should be fun. Okay, we're going to start with a base, making a base. Standard base. I found a Mariner lying around here in the studio. That's the Mariner, as you can see, and I chopped it in two parts just to put on the base to have something heavy and something fun for the Dire Troll to be jumping over. You could also use a wreck marker, of course, but it's more fun to chop something up and use that instead. At least I think so. For the base, we're going to start with some green stuff once again. Kneading it, putting it together. We're going to use that to put the wreck marker on, and then we can apply it a bit around the edges of the wreck marker so that it's, we can put some sand on it afterwards, and then it leads up to the wreck marker, and it looks like the wreck has been there for some while and it's halfway in the sand, something like that. Okay, this is ready. Once again, some super glue on the base. Then I'm going to really stretch it out, the green stuff, like that. I'm going to put it in the middle of the base, like that. Then I'm going to put the wreck marker, I'm going to put some, I'm going to take the other one, the back side of the check, put some glue on this one as well, and put it on the green stuff. Why am I using the green stuff in between the base and the jack? Mainly because the jack, if you saw it with a saw, it's very hard to get a nice straight edge. It always bends a little bit, and that means that if you put it on the base, it will never completely make contact with the base. And superglue only works if the two really make contact to one another. So that's why we are using the green stuff, to make sure that that works pretty good. So as you can see, I'm just pushing it with my finger in between here. I'm going to see if I've got time in the end to take care of the base and to make something nice out of the base. We'll see how it goes, if that's necessary or not. Base, we're going to put that aside. First one, we're going to take the Dire Troll. That's the box with the Dire Troll. I pre-pinned it, because as you saw in the previous video, pinning is just boring to watch. So I pinned the parts that I needed to pin. We've got the legs here. We've got the torso, oops, for a troll, which is that one. We've got two arms. The right arm with a big fist that he usually leans on. We've got the left arm, like that, with a separate hand. Hi, Mom. We got a face, like that, a snarling face. We've got two pieces of loincloth. And we've got the base where usually, as you can see here, you put the fist on it. Oops, like that. And that's how the model is, that's where the model is leaning on. So if you put the rest of the model together, this is what it will look like. It looks like he's jumping over his own fist, ready to beat somebody in the face. We're going to keep that pose, but we're going to do something different with him, of course. This part goes away. We don't need that anymore. We're keeping the rest. Well, the hand can go as well, because we don't need that anymore either. Bye, Mom. That's the first model. The second one is the Mercenary kit. What we are going to do is we're going to make a Subduer out of it. The Subduer is the guy who has got one blade on his one hand, like this one, and he's got a net gun on the other hand. And the other arm actually comes, if I can find that part, whoops, with this one as well. So you see he's got a chain here, going through here, and the mechanism of the net gun, and if you put this on top of that one, like that, see, you've got a nice net gun on the arm. Those are the arms we're going to be putting on the model. We also need a different head to put on him, and the different head is this one, that we're going to try and put on the troll model, which should be interesting. The rest of the kit we're going to put aside. We may need some parts of it later on, but we'll see about that. Let's start with the easier one. We're going to start with the right arm. The right arm is this one, as you can see. Just going to put him into the elbow for a second so that you can see where it goes. And we're going to combine it with this arm. And the first thing you do when combining something like this is that you try to dry fit everything, and you just ogle it, how it's going to be positioned and where it should go, just to get a feel of where you have to cut later on. If you take this, for example, you're seeing that this is the elbow. So this one should be pretty high up, well, somewhere like there. That should do the trick, really. Somewhere there. So I'm going to take this one off. We're going to use a saw for it. You always saw, and you just start cutting it where you want the arm to come off. As you can see, this leaves some pretty ugly edges, so we're gonna shave them off with the knife. Just take your knife and run it along the edge, like you're cleaning a model, really. Like you're cleaning a miniature and cleaning the mold lines off. As you can see, it fits nicely. Okay, let's go for it. Next up, pinning once again. I'm gonna get my drill. Oops. Pinning in this one. As you can see, this is plastic. Well, this is the resin plastic that Privateer has been using for a couple of years now, which means it can be drilled a lot easier than the metal that we used on the previous video. This one that goes the same. Gonna have to see that it aligns a bit. As you can see, there's quite a gap between where this one will come out and where this one will go in. So yeah, it isn't all that important exactly where you drill it. You've got a bit of leeway there because of the difference where it goes in and where it comes out. Oops, like that. That's it. Take some brass rod. I am using thicker brass rod for this one. I'm using 1.5mm brass rod. Why? Because it's better. Because there's going to be more stress on these parts, and they're going to have to do a bit more heavy lifting, if you can call it like that. So I prefer to use a thicker rod, just to be sure that it doesn't do anything strange. On the Butcher, we used a thin brass rod because that was all you needed, because model really the two parts stuck together perfectly, and then you just need a bit of brass rod to connect them and to make sure they don't come off of each other. Here the brass rod has got to take some forces, or has to really provide stability for the model in the end, so that's why we... There. That one's fine. Once again, I don't usually glue this until the end, just because at this moment I can repose it the way I want to repose it, which I think is very handy. So I usually first start by pinning everything, putting it together, taking a look at how it looks, all of it put together, and then I start gluing bits on and off. Bits on. We're going to put this one to the side. The other arm, we've got the blade going on for that. Okay. And yeah, it's just the same process. This is the arm, this is the blade. So we're going to see where we're going to put it. And I think something like that should do it. Rip it apart like that. Once again, this is an ugly edge, because saws leave an ugly edge. Let's put them together. Something like that. We're not going to drill it yet, because we're going to do something special with the base. We had this base, right? And we've got this fist usually where he's leaning on. We're going to put this blade into the war jack. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim the blade off. Trim it off and then put it in there, and then it will look like it has gone through the jack, hopefully. So we're going to chop this one off. I think in this instant it is best to chop it off straight, and then we can always see later on if we have to do something different about it. I'm gonna put it here on our close cam. I'm gonna chop it off right here. I could chop it off a bit further, but I like to have a little bit of blade showing so that you know, like, there's a blade going into that jack. Now to make the connection, it's a big model, it's a plastic model, but still it's a pretty heavy model, so we're going to have to pin it. And like you see, the pin actually has to go from, if you want to do this right, let me tell it like this, this is going to become a part like that, right? The best way to do this is to let a pin go from in the base straight up into this bit. And you've got a pin going from here into the shoulder. That way the complete model is pinned and it can't go anywhere, so that's a good thing, right? You can do it with separate pins following up on each other, but my experience is that it's always easier to make one long pin, if possible, go through the entire arm up into the shoulder, because that way you are less reliant on super glue and you're more reliant on the strength of the brass rod. Might be a bit tight, but I'm gonna see what I can do. Like that, you see, and now it comes out the other side over there. As you can see, I drilled it, well, it's a bit skewed, to be honest. Yeah, we're going to see if that's a problem. Might be a problem if the other pin will overlap with that one. So we're going to try and be careful with it. Just put it right next to the other one. This is where you want to be very careful. As you can see, there's not much material left between the pin, between the drill, sorry, and the the surface of the model. I always start from the smallest part, because it's easier to go from here and come out on a, somewhere where you can, yeah, have got a lot of place to surface than to do it the other way around. So now we're going to put this bit on the shoulder. This is the shoulder. That's where it should go. What I'm doing now is I'm taking the pin, pushing it into this side, like that. And like before, if I push really hard while holding this together, I make a little indent, you see there, and that's where the drill should go for the other part. That's the first one. And now I can push this in, like that. Sorry, like that. You can always wiggle a bit around with it. I will need to put some green stuff on there, but that's no problem. I'm gonna cut it just about there. Oops. And then I'm gonna put the other part in like that. Push it very hard, wiggle it a bit to make a mark. See, and there's the other mark that we can then use to drill it. I think that should do it like that. Yeah, that should do it. Pushing this one in, pushing the other one in, that's for later. Clipping this one off. Okay, I'm gonna push them a bit further in so that I'm sure that it's exactly where it should go. Okay, like that. So that's the arm. Like I said, we're not going to glue anything yet at this stage. Well, not these parts anyway. So that's the one arm done. We're going to see where we're going to put it into the base. To see where we want to put it, I'm going to put the model together for a second. Just to have a feeling of where it's going and where the hand ends up, so that we can position the miniature in the center of the base. It's always a bit dumb if the miniature comes completely to the front of the base or to the back of the base, especially with a dynamic pose like this. Because if you do it that way, you always risk that the miniature topples over because it's too heavy in the front or too heavy in the back or something like that. So this is the way the miniature will be, like that. Whoops. You can always use some blue tack if you want to fix the miniature for a second. If it's too much parts, you can always use some blue tack to put them together at that moment. Now if we're going to put it here, like that, well, that should do the trick just fine. Once again, I'm going to drill the first hole in here, and once again we're going to drill straight through to the base and through the base, because that gives it the most solid connection. Now we're going to take this part off. This is how we're going to put him in there, right? And this is why I haven't glued anything on yet, because now I can see where it goes. I can just put one pin through it, like that, and then put the other one through it, and push it, really push it to see where the other hole should go, which is right about there. Okay, like that. Now, let's see how this turned out in the end. So that's up there, and then we're going to put these two in there. Looking pretty good already, even if I say so myself. We're going to have to tilt it later on to put it in the right position, but that's no problem because we are working with brass rod, and you can always bend it and it stays in that shape, so that's perfect. We're going to do some green stuffing and everything afterwards. After we are gluing everything shut, we're doing some green stuff to tidy it all up. But if we do it now, the green stuff, and then we're going to put some heavy pressure on it because of, well, the things we're going to do later on. And that way, it will ruin the model and it will ruin the green stuff. For the face, we also need the face plate, which is this one. And now we have to find some way to combine the two of them. Once again, first dry fitting him is always a good idea. So my idea was, if I cut it right, if I cut it like that, I cut the face like that, I can put the face plate on it. Well, I can put cut the face plate here. So put the bottom part of it out, and I can put that on there like that, and I think that will look pretty cool, you know, so that you keep the tusks on the on the underside of the maw, but nothing on the upside, on the upper side of the maw. So we're gonna see how that goes. Like I told you before, when you're cutting something like this, as you can see, it's very hard to do this with a saw. because of the edges here and here, it's very hard to do that with a saw because you're going to damage it anyway. You can't cut through it like that at once because that'll damage it as well. So the easiest way I always found is just by shaving away little pieces from the top. Like that. Like that, until you get what you want. So that's the top done. Now we're going to cut the top of the head off. I'm only going to take this part off like that. I can always take off more, but I'm a bit afraid to take too much off at the moment, so I'm only going to take this part off. Since this is a straight edge, I am going to use the saw, because there's, well, not so much that I can damage. This is the result I'm getting. I'm not a fan, to be honest. I'm gonna take it further off so that I wanted to save the teeth to start with, the upper teeth, but I think it will look cooler if I just take the teeth out anyway, and that the helmet sits even a bit lower on the face. So I'm gonna take that one off as well. Like that. Taking care not to damage the tusks. Let's see what that gives. Oh, needs more. That's a bit better, I think. We're gonna round it out again. Gonna take the edges off here. Like that. Okay, let's see if that works. Get this stuff off my hands. That's pretty neat, isn't it? Not convinced on about the back yet. The front is pretty good, although this one should have a bit more taken off. And hollowed out a bit more. Why am I hollowing this bit out? Because it's very hard to make the two fit completely perfectly. You can always put green stuff in there. True, but if you're not as good at sculpting as I am, you don't want to have to sculpt faces and stuff like that, because yeah, that's one of the most difficult things to do. I can take it off this bit. But as you can see here, the faceplate, it hangs a bit over the other parts. So if I can keep the faceplate and put it like that, put it a bit further on, that will mean that I don't have to do any sculpting because the gap will be behind the faceplate. And it is a bit more difficult to do it in the recess here and to cut the recess out further. But it's going to look better in the end, and that's the most important thing, of course, that it looks good in the end, because we're not doing all of this to have it look bad, right? Take the body again and see how it fits on the head, on the body. That's where it will be sitting, of course. The pin is a bit too long for this one at the moment, so that will interfere with the face, but Actually, I think it will be good like this. Yeah, I think this will be okay. We're going to clean up the desk again. And then we're going to start putting everything together. We're going to start with the torso. So these are the two parts of the, well, the torso and the legs. Going to see if they fit nicely together. They do. I'm wondering if I should put green stuff in between it, but I don't think I'm going to do it. We'll see about the green stuff later. Put some glue on here as well, and on the pin, and just like that. And let's hope that this dries out faster than the metal model did. A lot faster. As you can see, I always dry fit it first. Before I put it on, always dry fit it first, because you don't want to put glue on it, only to notice that something has changed, or the pin has changed position, or it's done something wrong, and that way it doesn't fit anymore. Like that. I'm going to leave this arm off for the moment. I'm going to put that one on in the end as a last thing, because I want to be able to reposition it the way I want it. That's that. I'm going to glue this together, the head and the faceplate. I'm going to use a bit of green stuff for that one, because we will probably need it. So, a bit of green stuff. Okay, we're gonna put it in the helmet, I guess. We're gonna flatten out the green stuff a bit. Put it in there. Like that. Put some more glue on it. And then push it into shape the way we want the face to be. Like that. That actually looks pretty good, right? I like it. That's the head done. Nice. Then for the hardest part. The hardest part is the arm and the position of the model. We're gonna put it in there. Put the pin in there, like that. Yeah, just gonna glue it, because why not? Like that. Hold it for a second until it sits. Okay, that does it. Now I'm gonna glue. Let me think for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna take it apart again. I'm gonna put glue on this one and this one. Yeah, that should do it, I think. Yeah, that was the right way around. Push it firmly. As I said before, if there would have been green stuff on this model, that would have been wrecked at the moment. Then I'm going to take this off, because it hasn't been glued yet. Put some glue on the pins and run them through it. Run them through it, like that. Okay. And let's see if this works still. Still works. Okay, this is the model. Like that. Okay, and as you can see, it's got a bit of a silly position like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend it until we think it's okay. So we just take the entire model like that and bend it. Can be a bit more forward leading. Something like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that should do the trick. Maybe a bit more even. Yeah, that's nice. Now I haven't glued it to the base yet. Why is that? Because now I can see. Look, if we're gonna look on the close cam, you can see here, you can see the pins running through there. And we're gonna trim the plastic a little bit. We're gonna finish it later on with a bit of green stuff, but we're gonna trim the plastic a little bit so that we need less green stuff to be done. For that, we take a knife and we just take this edge off. Since I have been putting green stuff in here in the head, I can't use the pin anymore. I can't drill at the moment because that will completely break the green stuff. So I'm just gonna see if I can take this pin in the neck, can take it out. Don't just yank it out like that, because that won't work. What will work is if you grip it tightly and you try to rotate it a bit, because that way the super glue will, won't grip anymore and you can take it off pretty easily. Okay, let's see if the head fits. I'm gonna take an edge off here, like that. Because that's where the top of the head comes in and where the green stuff comes in. Look, like that. And now it's a perfect fit. So we're going to glue the head on. Like that. Yep. Done. Time for the final arm. Oops, other way around. Like that. We're going to put the hand on. Over there. Yeah, put the hand on like that. Wait for it to set. And then I'm going to put this one on. I know there's not that much material there, so I'll put the spare green stuff we had from earlier in between there to make sure that we get a good bond between the two parts. Like that. And now, because I made the rest of the model first, I can position this the way I want it to be. Something like that. Should do the trick. Okay. That's the model quite finished. Well, the loincloths will have to wait for later, but that's the model completely positions the way we want it. Now we're going to start adding green stuff to make it look pretty.
Become a general of mighty armies at the Kings of War Hub. Take command of elves, dwarves and orcs in this game of masked fantasy combat on beastsofwar.com. From Viking halls to the cities of the future, terrain buffs will love our foreground hub. Watch gaming tables of all genres come to life at beastsofwar.com.